Hola y bienvenidos a la Daily Hustle, special edition of the Daily Hustle, in which we are watching the Texas Rangers and the Oakland Athletics play what is most likely going to be the very last game ever in the history of the Oakland Coliseum and possibly the very last Major League Baseball game ever played. That's Mason Miller, the A's closer, taking the mound. He throws 102 miles per hour. Right now, they're just showing you shots of the Coliseum. There's Clay, the grounds crew guy that has been there since I was there. You see the fans with the zuzulelis, the pom-poms, the flags waving, the big athletics cowboy hat. Sold out crowd in Oakland. Emotional, very much so. 1968 was the first year that the Oakland A's played in the Coliseum. You see the big dude right there with the baby. I think a lot of people just sort of taking it in right now. In the grass in center field, it says, "Thank you, Oakland." So we are here in the top of the ninth, and we're potentially 3 outs away from the final out. Nathaniel Lowe is up to bat, but does it really fucking matter? Might matter to Marlins, man. Good to see him there. Miller, a fastball right down the middle, 0 balls, 2 strikes. Fans on their feet. "102 up and away," and I don't know how you can't be a bit emotional about this. If you grew up in the Bay Area, even if you didn't, the A's, obviously a storied franchise, 4 world championships in Oakland. I think it was something like 16 or 17 playoff appearances. I was very grateful to be a part of, I think, 4 of those. There's a 103 mile per hour fastball by Mason Miller. Well, if there's a way to close it out, I guess you want one of the hardest throwers, if not the hardest thrower in the history of the Oakland Athletics on the mound. A breaking ball, 87 miles per hour. We're 2 outs away. The Rangers are just a run down, though. So I'm sure they would like to dampen the celebration a little bit. It's tough. I've been in that situation where you have the entire world rooting against you. 2001, when we played the Yankees and I had that last at bat against Mariano Rivera. You certainly don't mail it in. And I was up there fighting, doing everything I could. But you do realize that sometimes the moment is bigger than you. And right now, this moment is bigger than this game. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Miller the pitch. 103 up and away. You see the generations of A's fans behind? The young kids, the middle-aged men. A few old geezers mixed in there. Isn't that what baseball's about? It's passing the game on to the next generation. And now, wait, hold on a second. That's the same guy I think I ripped off the wall. He's out in center field. Butler's not doing shit about it. Well, I don't blame him. He's lucky I'm not out there. They're going to have a chase in center. You can tell he's like this. Now, I'm not sure if this guy's wearing a diaper or not. Diaper Boy was the guy that was doing circles around Kotze when I went and ripped the other dude off the wall. So I know Kotze is like, well, I've seen this shit before. 1 down. Oh, fuck, they got him out of there in a hurry. You wonder what other shenanigans the fans might have planned between now and the final out. Bruce Bochy, cleanly shaven. He looks good. World champion Rangers, by the way. They still hold that title. Now, you're going to have all sorts of security on the field. I guess everywhere but on. This does mess with Miller's mojo. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes. So we'll figure out if this is a help or hurt to Miller or Tavares. 0 for 3 on the day. But what a beautiful sight. So the problem is, as Dallas Braden is regaling us, I mean, there's a sight. Jeez. If that's not going to make your eyes well up a little bit, I don't know what will. All right, here we go. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. See ya. So now we're 1 out away. I watched the final game last night as Jankowski steps to the plate. I like this guy. Fouls off 101. And it certainly brought back a lot of emotions. And I'll get into today's Daily Hustle that went out earlier in the day. But certainly a sad sight. So we got another smoke bomb out there. Players got to be tripping, though, man. They've been playing in front of 2,000 fans every night. And now you got a sold-out stadium? How about J.J. Bleday made a sick catch in center field? Three 2-A's, 0 balls, 2 strikes in what could be the final pitch in Oakland A's history right here. Breaking ball. Away. So now, this should set up the 100-something mile per hour fastball. 104. Wow. Incredible. 104 miles per hour. Jankowski was on it. That'd be a hell of a way to go out. So here we go again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 3 2As in what could be the final pitch in Oakland history. Fastball, 104. Ground ball, third base. And that's it. You saw Z-Man out there with his camera. Obviously, the fans still on their feet. There's Z-Man right there. Of course, Cool and the Gang coming on. There's Kotze. He's been a rock for this A's franchise. There's Katie out in left field. Saw her at the Long Beach airport not too long ago. A lot of familiar faces. Jacob Miller had a big knock today. Jacob, the son of, Jacob Wilson, the son of Jack Wilson, with a big knock today. And here's the fans. I just, much like last night, I imagine they're not going to want to leave. What's going to become of the Coliseum? I have no idea. The players saluting the fans. Kotze addressing the crowd. Talking about how emotional it was after the game last night. Mm-hmm. Mentioning how Jamie, his wife, took him out there to center field. It's kind of soaked in everything. Thanking the staff. Mentioning the people that quote unquote aren't coming with us. That's where this hurts. There's certainly some members of the A's organization, a lot of front office people, obviously, that are going to be making the move to Sacramento. Speaking for all of us now. Talking about the past players. Anyone who's worn the uniform. Good look at Ricky Henderson right there. mentioning the fans, obviously. Talking about the current club and them playing their asses off. I like that. They have certainly far exceeded expectations. Just to see all those people on their feet right now, it's just fucking awesome. Uh, Starting a little "Let's Go Oakland" chant. Only 47,000 people. Mentioned earlier today, my first memories of the Coliseum. Going there as a kid with my dad, my sister. Typically, the matinee game against the Toronto Blue Jays, I think we hit it up like 3 years in a row. It became like an annual thing. Coliseum back at that time was just a different stadium. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And it's not that it's not gorgeous now. It gets a bad rap. But you had the Oakland Hills off in the background. And from there, you grow up. I grew up a Giants fan and an A's fan. I loved them both. And then, I played baseball myself. So I like Butler's hard look right here. So I ended up getting drafted by the A's. And it was cool. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But when you get drafted, what's funny is you're not really thinking about the big league stadium at all, right? Like you're thinking about like where am I starting? So I started in Medford, then Medford to Visalia, Visalia to Modesto, Modesto to Midland, Midland to Sacramento, and then Sacramento eventually up to Oakland. And when I got there, it was special to be able to do it and play in front of my family and friends. What a cool experience to be able to go out there against the Giants with 50,000 people in the stands and hit my first ever major league home run. Is what an experience. There was plenty of amazing moments and amazing catches and amazing wins and certainly some heartbreak in there as well. Whether it was losing to the Red Sox, the Yankees. One I remember is a tough one in 04 when we didn't make the playoffs and we had to be Anaheim and ended up hitting a ball that I felt like it went over the left field wall and basically blew back in. That would have won us the game. So really, I think, too, a lot of the memories, you can say they're during the games, but they're not. I mean, the games are only a small part of what goes on there. If there's a 7 o'clock game, I'd arrive at 12 noon. Mason Miller on the back right now talking about how it was one of the coolest moments of his life that he just got to experience. And yeah, that certainly makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't think any of these players have ever experienced it. I'm not sure how many teams in the big leagues have experienced a crowd like that this year. I imagine, maybe San Diego, the Dodgers, a couple of them, not a couple given nights, but I mean, that was as electric as a crowd and as emotional of a crowd, I think, that you'll ever see. There's Cliffy, now the head clubhouse guy. You see the images of the fans. That's what got me last night. It was not my experiences, but basically, I felt like I had some closure with those. But it was looking at the fans and the faces and everything else. That was what caused me basically, I think, to break down like so many people have and, get those tears flowing. It's just, it's tough. It's really, really, really tough. So I'm going to get into today's daily hustle, but wanted to come on here at the end of this and try to capture them. I knew, look, I don't have much to say here. I really don't. It's, it hurts. And as far as the title for today's daily hustle, this one hurts. Buenos dias. Today is Thursday, September 26, 2024. And as far as we know, today will be the last home game in Oakland A's history. The Daily Hustle quote of the day: don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Daily Hustle translation: last night I was watching the A's play their final home game in Oakland, and for whatever reason, at the end of the game, I became overwhelmed with a rush of emotions. I thought I had emptied my emotional tank when I had the opportunity to go to the Coliseum a couple weeks ago, but apparently not, because last night hit hard. My personal experiences at the Coliseum range from as a kid rolling over the Sandwich Hill Bridge with my dad and my sister to catch A's matinees, to getting called up to the big leagues, to hitting my first major league home run, to the 20-game win streak, to a walk-off home run just as the clock struck midnight, to an opening day to an opening day game winning double, to a few diving, wall banging, and home run robbing catches, to playoff heartbreak, to getting traded, to getting named to the A's 50th anniversary team, and finally, of course, to taking down a mascot race for the ages. Those are all personal memories and reflections that I have relived in some capacity ever since it became official the A's would be leaving town. I typically deal with life changes pretty well. And as I mentioned, the day I just recently got to spend at the Coliseum certainly helped give me closure and peace within it. So, why was I sobbing in front of a TV last night, doing everything I could to hide my tears from my wife and kids? I wasn't sure exactly, but as I reflect upon it this morning, I've come to realize these emotions weren't about me. They were about the countless, seemingly heartbroken fans in the stands, the ones filling water bottles with dirt and who wouldn't leave after the game was over. These emotions were about the workers: Clay and the grounds crew staff, Gus and the security guards, the hardworking badasses that will be out of a job after today. Tara eventually caught on, and the waterfalls are streaming from my eyes, and she used the line we have always used as somewhat of a family mantra during difficult times that we've endured. Quote, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Internally, I was smiling for all the amazing life experiences and lessons the Oakland Coliseum provided me and my family over the years. Externally, I couldn't bring myself to do it. Maybe because the move was so easily preventable, maybe because it was blatant, irresponsible incompetency by an ownership group in a city. Regardless, I realize time will heal and life in A's baseball will charge forward. But this one just fucking hurts. Just does. Oh, look, grateful for the time I got to spend there. Grateful for everything. I mean, I really am. But as you see this and you see what this city in the entire San Francisco Bay Area region, like what they're capable of producing on this field. Like I played in front of that shit. That's what no one realizes. This isn't an anomaly. This is a fucking norm. That's what it was. Every single night, no. But weekends, yes. Big games, yes. Playoff games, yes. I mean, that was it. Now, no one's going to miss that foul territory. At least no hitter's going to miss that foul territory. And there's some intricacies within the park that were, yeah, a little quirky. But overall, I loved playing there. Even Mount Davis. We used to rip golf balls over Mount Davis, by the way. There's Geloff. Be interesting to see what happens going forward here. A's are slated to play in Sacramento beginning next season. There's a chance that I think they end up staying there. Now, it's obviously really early to predict that, but you do have the Raiders who are playing in Vegas, so the move does make some sort of sense if you want to keep those teams attached. There's Brent Rooker. Make no mistake about it, Brent Rooker is a bad motherfucker, by the way. So the A's have some pieces, I believe, going forward that really give them some promise and hope. It's funny, I got a text from Frank Paul Santangelo today, FP. And we were on a thread with Frankie Menachino and Eric Chavez. And FP reminded us of the song that we used to play in 2001 when we won. And it was One More Time. It was so good. And so Frankie then reminded us, hey, look, that wasn't just about on the field. That was off the field too. And looking back on what made those teams so special was the camaraderie of the dudes. The fact that we had 23 out of 25 guys heading to dinner, heading out afterwards. It was just a really special time. Jason Giambi was obviously the ringleader of that crew. And his tool shed brand, it was like an underwear brand that he had at the time. And he had a motto that I'm not sure if it was the official slogan of Tool Shed or it was the official slogan of the Oakland A's in 2001. But it was play like an all-star, party like a rock star, and fuck like a porn star. It's a little aggressive. I get it. But it surely brought smiles to people's faces. And it's just one of the small memories I know that I'll hold with me. Jason Giambi, by the way, so he won the MVP in 2000. He handed out bats to all the boys. I mean, I had a month and a half in the big leagues in 2000. And wrote personal messages on the bats to Bernsey. Keep up the energy. Love playing with you. Great teammate, Jason Giambi. So, not only did you sign the bat and all here, thanks for being a part of my MVP season is what it was. So, anyhow, that's yeah, it's rough, man. Really is. Greg Papa last night, he was on, I don't know if he's on his radio show or what, but he was talking about the experience of going to the Coliseum and being there, kind of like the same sort of experience that I had, and seeing the familiar faces, and then thinking about that. That's it. Like that's going to be the last time. And he said he's driving off, and he's like, it's like fucking death. You know what? Maybe it is. I mean, I've dealt with the loss of people in my life that are very close to me. I mean, whether it was my first girlfriend, one of my very best friends in life, there was, obviously going through, the loss of grandparents. But, when my dad passed away, I obviously hit home as well. And there's just kind of these random times that you you start you start crying. You don't even know why. And then it goes away, and then, you know, for whatever reason, you're sitting there, maybe just have a little dead time to start thinking about the experiences that you've had with that person, and then the tears will start flowing again. That's basically what this has been the past couple days. Once again, I didn't think it hit me that hard, and I did feel like I had some nice closure when I was able to go out there a couple weeks ago and throw out the first pitch and go on the broadcast and take Colton out to center field and left field and show him where Daddy used to work. But I do think that it keeps coming back. And I think now more than anything, and like I mentioned in today's Daily Hustle, it's obviously it's not fucking about me. This is about the fans. This is about the images that you saw on television of a grown ass man with all the different pins on his hat and just sobbing, sobbing. It's tough. Time will heal. We'll move on. The A's organization is going to move on, but won't ever be the same. I think it's okay to let the emotions out. I think it's okay to mourn this loss. I also think at some point, each and every one of us need to put on our big boy pants and big girl pants and move on. I got a lot of faith in Sacramento. I know how many. I mean, shit. I live in Tahoe, right? Like this is closer to me than where the Coliseum is, and it's NorCal. And I love that. I would love nothing more to see them actually end up staying in Sac. Obviously, if I had my choice, they would never fucking leave Oakland. But so we'll figure this out, and you know, it's one of those things where the only guarantee in life is change. That's it. Life's constantly changing. It's always changing. I think Sacramento will be a cool opportunity to be able to see these guys up close, so to speak. And hopefully it'll be an opportunity for the Sacramento fan base to show that they're capable of hosting, and even more than that, just being a home for a major league team. We've seen what they've done with the Kings. Like, there's no fucking doubt. The light, the beam, man. We got to be lighting a beam, ideally, for A's wins. Um, but as far as Oakland is concerned, as far as the people in the Bay Area are concerned, as far as the Oakland A's as an organization are concerned, let's smile because it happened. I, I'm done with the tears. And I just want to reflect back upon all the amazing experiences that I've been able to have there. And, I know other people have been able to have. How about Barry Zito singing the national anthem today, getting in the booth? When I was on a radio station earlier today, I was on with Cody Decker, Beetle and Decker, and they were asking me about what it was like to play there and the fans and everything. Make no mistake about it. We had some of the absolute fucking best fans in baseball. And sure, you could say the best 12,000 fans in baseball. We only would say that because 12,000 was kind of that standard number we get on a Tuesday or Thursday night or maybe a Monday night. Wednesday was Dollar Dogs. So we packed that bitch. But it didn't matter if it was 12,000. It didn't matter if it was 24,000 or 36,000. Every fucking night and every day I played in that Coliseum, I felt the gosh damn energy just flow through me. Why? The fans, the passion, the energy, the effort. So thank you guys for that, Oakland. Thank you for all of those years. But if you think about a city, what are we really talking about? I'm sure as fuck not talking about the government structure of the city. I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about those who came out and supported night in and night out. I'm talking about those who worked at the Coliseum. Certainly talking about the ones that are going to be left behind. Mentioned that earlier. A lot of these people, look, Clay and the whole grounds crew, they're all out of jobs. Gus and the security team, they're out of fucking jobs. Sucks. But like anything in life, you deal with it. It's a stoic phrase that I actually have on a medallion, one sort of similar to this flippy right here. But it's called Per Aspera Ad Astra. And the meaning of that is through hardship to the stars. And although this right now just sucks, let's feel the air pass through our nostrils. Try to get our emotions in check a little bit. And charge on. That's all we can do as fans, as former players, as anything else. But I do think, in the daily hustle, just in general, that first and foremost, we're a life optimization podcast. And I try to take every situation that we encounter in life, in all sorts of experiences, good, bad, and ugly, that I've had in my life. And it's like, what can we learn from this? And so when I'm looking at the A's and them now moving, what can we learn from this? How can we not let this happen again? And maybe that's why this hurts so badly. And I mentioned that in the Daily Hustle today, because it was complete and total irresponsible incompetency. Think about that. 24 fucking years they tried to get a new stadium deal done. Oakland had to watch two other teams skip town. And the A's ran this amazing rooted in Oakland campaign. They made Oakland theirs. That was it. This was going to be a forever thing in fucking Oakland, and you all fucked it up. Everybody. I'll take blame. Be accountable. You're the A's, be accountable. You're the city of Oakland, be fucking accountable. Fans, I guess there's some sort of accountability that we have to share. Maybe if we showed up 30,000 plus on a nightly basis, this would have never been an issue. I don't know. But I'm done pointing fingers. I'm done being negative. The shit talking and everything, going back and forth. As far as the whole sell the team thing, who are you going to sell it to? And don't get me wrong. Like I realize there are billionaire owners out there that want this team. I know Joe Lacob being one of them. What's he going to do with them? What's the plan? The potential to keep them in the Bay Area. So yeah. So is that a realistic possibility? I don't know. I mean, the question becomes at this point, why does John Fisher even want him? I mean, he could get out right now and he made a fuck ton of money. He's totally good. Actually, to be honest with you, I feel bad for him. He is, he's been blasted to the point where he won't even go to games. He's had death threats against him. And, does he want to live like that? He had the letter, and I realized nobody was happy with the letter, and rightfully so. At least he did come out and say something. But at the same time, John, we just got to get real about this, man. We got to get real about it. And whether it was trying to figure out a way how to fucking publicly finance a stadium, or even if you move them, I think the permanent move, the SAC, would have rested a little bit easier. We'll see. Farewell, total crowd of 46,889. You still see people hanging out in the stands not wanting to leave. Those green seats are going to be on sale here shortly. I'll have a pair right up there next to my Candlestick Park seats and Jack Murphy Stadium seats. I mean, they tore Jack Murphy down. They tear Candlestick down. But the Padres didn't leave San Diego. And the Giants didn't leave San Francisco. The question becomes, too, how long are they going to let this group hang out? At what point do they start trying to escort people out of the stadium? What would have been a cool protest is the fans never fucking left. They did it some kind of 24-hour stand in the Coliseum. Shit, I would have been behind that one. Although, I would have liked to run around the warning track for 24 hours straight. Chat firing. Crudelli. What's up, brother? Joe. Good afternoon to you. Look at the patch here. This is badass. That's really cool. Yeah, man. Look, Crudelli, I think this is a situation where something had to happen. It did. It did. I've said that fucking over and over. There's a lot of A's fans might have even been upset and discouraged with some of the comments that I had about the A's and leaving Oakland. But it's like, look, you couldn't fucking figure it out. You had 24 years to figure it out. My first year in Oakland, they were talking about getting a new stadium. And they were talking about before that. You've had the Texas Rangers go through 2 stadiums before the A's could get one. You had the Atlanta Braves go through 2 stadiums before the A's could get fucking one. That was a problem. Now, the epic failure came, in my humble opinion, is within the entire San Francisco Bay Area, because you just can't let that team leave. You're the 5th or 6th largest TV market in the country. You clearly can support 2 teams, and you have supported 2 teams. I think this now puts into perspective what other sports franchises have gone through when they've lost their teams. When the Cleveland Browns left Cleveland to become the Baltimore fucking Ravens. Think about the people in Cleveland. When the Tennessee Titans, the Houston Oilers left Houston to become the Tennessee Titans. Think about the people in Houston. Think about what they went through. Because I think now we know. When the Montreal Expos left Montreal to go to Washington, D.C., think about what that was like for those who grew up watching the Expos. Love to get Joe on here. He was actually on here earlier. I mean, there are some iconic franchises that have left some major cities. And again, you take a city like Cleveland, all due respect, there's just a little bit less to do in Cleveland than there is in the San Francisco Bay Area. That's why California teams have gotten a little bit of a bad rap, because we have so many other options. And even in the Bay Area, it's like, oh, well, the A's are leaving, we stick on the Giants. Yeah, I get it. But there's some people in this world, in the San Francisco Bay Area and in Oakland specifically, they fucking lived and died with the A's. And I would recommend anybody, like, if you want to get a real feel of what's going on, get your boots on the ground. Go out there. See what it's really like. Because that's when I got hit. When I saw Dietra and I saw Pam Pitts and I saw Dave Renetti, you could see the wear on them. When I saw Clay, when I saw Michael Zagaris, you could see the range of emotions that they've dealt with. Now, as far as I know, all of them are going to Sacramento, with the exception of Clay. But, man, they were torn because Oakland is home. And it's not, this isn't, you know who this is the least about? The fucking players. All due respect to the players, current players, and even former players. It's fucking bigger than you. Way bigger than you. And I think they realize that, obviously, because on a normal night, they got 2,500 in the stands. I do think they did a really, really good job of embracing the moment, showing up when they fucking had to. They had the walk-off on Friday. They lost yesterday, but then they battled through a tough game today. Mason Miller closing the game out with 104-mile-per-hour fastballs. Super cool. Crudelli says Oakland has lost all of its major sports, so somewhere we can't blame Fisher completely. That's true. It's very true. And then Joe saying the feeling sucks. Here in Arizona, we lost our Coyotes. That's right. They went to Utah. Yeah, it does suck. It is funny because it seems like there's a good percentage of people in Arizona that they don't give a fuck about the Coyotes. But those who did, nah, it hurt. The one thing I've realized about the A's leaving here is that all of a sudden my phone has blown up with Oakland A's fans that I never even thought they gave two shits about the A's. People all over the Bay Area. We got a group chat from my high school that it's got all the boys in it. And we had one of our buddies, Kenny Narisso, send a pic. He was in front of the Burns Baby Burns sign at the Coliseum. I mean, what's gonna happen to that sign, by the way? Any chance I could get that? It was huge. Athletics magazine. I'll show you guys a picture. But here we are, and the question is, let's see here. Yeah, well, it started. One of them started with this. It's a newspaper thing this morning, and I told Smokey Pokey I'm just happy that I know somebody that still reads an actual paper. And then here was the image sent to me later in the day, and that's Kenny Narisso, and you see the Burns Baby Burns. I mean, that's a big ass sign, man. So if you're the A's, if there's any way I could get a piece of that, I'd appreciate it. Joe chime in once again. So the D-backs are having stadium issues with Maricopa County over Chase Field that they've known for a couple of years. Yeah, Joe, you're right. I don't see the Diamondbacks going anywhere. I see the Diamondbacks potentially getting a new stadium, whether it's privately funded or they get together with one of the casinos out there. I know that's what they were talking about a few years ago when I was there. I think Chase Field's great. I mean, there are some things that you could do to make it better. Downtown Phoenix? I don't know. It's downtown. So there's certainly some renovations, a few $100 million, I imagine, that you could take care of it. But that's one of the better stadiums in baseball. I think there's some ways that you can go ahead and, make it better, make it a little bit more intimate. But overall, they should be able to figure that shit out. So anyhow, everyone have a fantastic day. Appreciate you guys coming on here. As far as Major League Baseball scores, you got Milwaukee 5-2 winners over the Pirates, which I don't think that's going to have too big of an impact on anything just because it's going to be the Dodgers and the Phillies who have the top two spots in the first round buys, with Milwaukee having to play one of the wild card series, even though they're division winners. Kansas City Royals, they complete the sweep of the Washington Nationals 7-4. Detroit stays hot. I got to believe they clinched the postseason by now. They're really fucking close. 4-3 winners over Tampa. And how about the White Sox? I think they just swept the Angels. Holy shit, Wash. Yeah, that's a low moment for the Angels. But the White Sox, I mean, they're one game away from winning their 40th game of the year. They have 120 losses. Colorado, 10-8 winners over the St. Louis Cardinals. Real cool moment in that one where Charlie Blackmon's father threw out the first pitch to Charlie, and then when the game started, Charlie goes bridge in what is going to be his final series or final few games here for the Colorado Rockies. A terrific career, just a fucking baseball guy in every sense of the word. Oakland 3-2 winners over the Rangers. Obviously, this is the game that we came on and watched. We're talking about. So the Mets and the Braves are postponed. Helene has made landfall. I believe she was supposed to make landfall at some point on Thursday. So we'll keep following that. Baltimore is at New York. They're about to start that one. Miami against the Minnesota Twins. That's in Minnesota, who's trying to hang on for dear life. And then it's going to be the Padres at the Dodgers tonight. Dodgers won last night, so it takes a little bit of the drama out of it. It's damn near impossible for the Pods to catch them at this point because they are 3 games back with what I think 4 to play. The Mets and the Diamondbacks are both 1 game up on the Braves. The Padres have solidified their postseason berth. We saw that with the triple play the other night. And then the Brewers, like I mentioned, they will be in that wild card mix, even though they were the Central Division winners, and the Phillies and the Dodgers will get those first-round buys. And then the American League, it's the Yankees and the Guardians who solidified the top 2 spots. The Astros, 86 and 73, will win the West, but they will have to play most likely either the Kansas City Royals or the Detroit Tigers. One of the two. The Twins are 2.5 back of both of them. And then the Orioles would play either the Royals or the Tigers as well. So October baseball right around the corner. The Tigers, by the way, I mean, they're as hot as any team, not as any team. They're the hottest team in baseball, period. For a while now, they have had the best record. I mean, we're going back like a ways. I want to say like past 50 games plus. The Royals, same sort of thing. So good to see the Royals turn it up. And what's funny is that since after 57 years, the A's say farewell with a heartfelt win. Something I'll treasure. Not even a top story here, though. That's bullshit. It is. Bullshit. Anyhow, everyone have a great day, like I mentioned. I got to get Biscuit to football practice. Back on tomorrow morning, Daily Hustle. And we're going to get locked into a pretty good routine of 5 days a week, 8 a.m. Just some days will be longer than other days, but I think that is the answer with the DH going forward, and then continuing to send out the Daily Hustle emails as well. Sad day in Oakland, but folks, we'll deal with it. Per aspera ad astra, onward and upward through hardship to the stars. See ya.